So introducing you to our facilitator, Wagisha Ruwini. She is a graduate in business administration, specializing in finance and accounting. She also holds a diploma in advanced management accounting at SIMA Sri Lanka. She also has been working in the finance industry for over 3 years in organizations such as Mars Holdings, DC Consultancy, and she now is a associate manager in finance business partnering with London Stock Exchange Group. So over to you for the session, Ms. Ruwini Wagisha.
Thank you, Murthy. Good morning, everyone. So today's session, as Murthy said, will be a practical session. So it will be great if you all can have your Power BIs open. And I'll go through whatever the theory that we discussed during the first session. We'll touch base on this while we are doing the work. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when y'all can see my screen.
We can see the screen.
Okay, great. So we're going to start. I hope you all got the exercise files. So we are going to use the session 2 exercise file, which has tagged as PNL. Okay. So first thing for us to start on the dashboard is to load the data in. So there are two ways to do that. One way is you go to transform data, then you go into transform data from the home tab. So that is the direct related. While it opens that, I'm saying that is the direct way to load the data. So it will load straight away to your backend. So that is very straightforward. You just have to follow the same stuff, but it will open up in the backend itself. So I'm going to show you during this session the other way so you all can handle both. Okay, so this is the backend. If anyone has missed or cannot remember, it's loading. Bear with me with these technical difficulties. Sorry. Okay, so this is the backend canvas, which where we do all the formatting and queries. So this is the Power Query editor platform in the Power BI. So you can go here from new source and load whatever you want, but I'm going to show you the other way. So it's the similar way, but just so in your visualization canvas, you all can see in the home tab there's something called get data. I'm going to go there. So it's since my for this exercise I just have one exercise file. I'm going to show you how to load it from Excel workbook. So you're going to select your source type. So I'm going to select the file that I require to load and you click open. So when it gets connected, it will open into Navigator pane where it will show you what are the available things that is there for you to select and load. So sheet means just the workbook sheet that would appear. And if you have formatted it into a table in Excel, you will see it as a table. Since I want to show you other features, so it is easier if you load the formatted table version. Okay, but for I want to show you how the other functions work, so I'm going to load the row sheet date. Okay, so I'm going to select that, so you can tick it and it will say load, transform data and cancel. So load means it will straight away load it into the front canvas. But since you all can see that I need to format and edit my data into a presentable format, so I'm going to select transform data. So the data will be loaded into the backend. Uh, Wait until the table appear. Okay, so this is our table. So you all can see in the applied steps here, whatever we do, it records our steps here. So when you can go, some other time you can go back, change it, delete it, or you can see what you have done to your data set. These four that naturally comes in, this is the automatic steps that they create to get the table up until here. So if you go back here, it will first load the source, then it will navigate into the format we have selected. It will promote the identify first row as its headers, and it will identify the type of data in each column based on what they can see. Okay. So if you go here, it's column 4, there's text and there's values. So they have said any. Okay. So they have selected any format. But where there is only text, they have naturally picked it as text. Okay. So let's format this into a table that we can use in our queries. Okay, so you can see there are some rows in the top which are not required for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to say remove rows. I'm going to say remove top rows. Okay, so y'all can see I want to remove 4 rows for me to get to the heading that I needed. Okay, so I'm just going to type 4 here and says okay. And now the first row are the actual headers that should be on my columns. Okay, for that, in this home tab, there's under transform, there's a feature called use first row as headers. I'm going to select that. Okay, so the formatting of the table, what the table should look like is there as I need. Are you all with me? Have you followed? Are there any questions up until now for you to get it here? Any questions? Okay, so I hope you all are with me. Okay, so once the table is in the correct table format, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the data type. So if you go here and hover around, you all can see the data type here in front of the column name. Also in your home ribbon here at the top, you all can see data type here. Okay, so project should be text, that is correct. Product should be text, that is also okay. Nature should be text, okay. Revenue should be numbers, so you can go for whole numbers, decimals, or whatever based on what your values are. Since my revenue and cost are in whole numbers, these two are also okay. But date column, y'all can see it has picked it as a text. Okay, so I want to change it to date. I'm going to go to the data type and select date. So it says replace current or add a new step. Since my last step is also change type, I don't need to add a new step. So I'm just going to say replace current. Okay, there's an error pit. Okay. gonna delete this. I'm gonna read all the data. I'm just gonna open my Excel and see why there is an error in this, because I cannot pick it. Okay, this could be because my keyboard is in US and the date is in UK format. Let me quickly check that. Okay, this is not working. I'm gonna do a little bit of change into this. I'm gonna convert this using replace value. We can get on with this. I'm sorry. So just remember that it should be on the same format, otherwise it will pick the date formats wrong. Okay, let's try date now. Yeah, so it was on a different format. I'm just gonna update the formats here to text as current and these two to columns. I'm sorry about the confusion made. Any questions from what I did?
Hi, do you think you can repeat the steps you did after you replaced the dates? Because I couldn't follow you after that.
Okay, so what happened was when I straight away tried to correct it, it's like my keyboard was in US for keyboard format, and my dates here that I had given was in UK format. Okay, so what I did was I should have corrected it in the Excel since it took long time to open. I just replaced each date into the US format. Okay, so what you can simply go here, right click, you can see replace value, or else in the home ribbon you have replace value. Okay, so when you go there, and I just changed it, so whatever that is given would change. Okay, 31st December. So what I did was I took December to the front and the date to the next. Okay, so I made all my dates to US. Then what I did was I selected this column and go to data type and converted it to date.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Since I deleted that previous change type step, I just manually changed this also, but it should have automatically worked. Okay, you can just select, as in Excel, you can select multiple columns if you press Control key and just change everything together. So I know these three should be text. I change it to text, and these two to be whole numbers. Anything else? Are we good to load this? I hope you all are with me. So what I'm going to do is you go to here, close and apply, and you click close and apply. Let's give it a little time to load. Okay, so my sheet has loaded. So if there's just a green tick, that means there were no errors found in the table. If there are errors, it will flag here and you can go back to the query to check those errors. Okay, so let's let it finish. Okay, so it will load into your front canvas, and in the fields you can see the table and the fields. Okay, so you can see all the columns here. So will be little bit more organized. You can just double click here, and I'm going to rename it to revenue. You can just double click and change the sheet name. Okay. So this is our front visual canvas. You can see the fields loaded and the canvas here. In your data tab, if you go here and select, you should see the table here as we have loaded. I'm sorry, it takes a little time to load today. Okay, the field should come up. Okay, yeah. And then in your relationship tab, you should see our table. So for you to start analyzing and build the dashboard, one of the main things that people analyze data on are based on dates. Okay, so now you can see in this table, we only have one table for this dashboard, but here you can see like not all the dates are there, right? There's in February, it's only the month and data there. Imagine there are other tables that with beginning of the month dates that is there on the table. So for you to analyze, you need to capture all the dates in the month. Okay, so it is advised that you should always create a date table, base date table, for you to start analyzing data based on dates. Okay, so next thing I'm going to teach you all is how to build the base date table. Okay, for that, in your data table, you can see there's something called new table. Click on that. So it should be on your table tools. You should pick it as. For here, I'm gonna give this table name as date table. Okay. So you are going to build the table based on a function. Okay. So that's how you create tables in the Power BI in your canvas. So for you to create a date table, you have to use the formula calendar. When you start typing, you can see it is suggested. Click on it. Okay, so the calendar date is where you give a start date and an end date, and it will list all the dates that is there between those start date and end date. Okay, so my data starts. So for you to give the data, just to avoid the same issue that I had when I changed the type of the data, where I picked US, where my data was in UK format. To avoid that, you can always use this formula called date. So it is giving a precise format for the Power BI to understand what it is. Okay, so you don't have to mess around with region-wise date formats. Okay, so you pick a date. So my start date, for my start date, I'm going to use December 1st because my data is from there. December 1st. And you close the bracket. You put a comma. So that's my start date. My end date, you're gonna put another date function, so the format would not change. Just to make sure, I'm gonna give June. I know for sure I don't have dates for June. Then you close the bracket. Always make sure that number of brackets you closed is equal to the bracket to the open. If you're not familiar with Excel formulas, you should always see whether it's closing. So it will highlight which bracket was closed here. So the first calendar function. That's right, and I'm gonna press enter. Okay, so it's gonna just list all the dates in here. So there's this time also picked in here, which I do not require. So I'm gonna just go here and change it to date. Okay, I'm not gonna use time for this. The other important factor to look into here is, can you all see it? So they give date, like the weekday, month. So this, unless it is necessary for you to actually use this format, it's better to keep it clean. So I'm gonna go for the normal date, month, year format. Okay, but you should always remember this format should equal to the date format in your other tables also. Okay, so I'm going to go here and change that to. So everything is in the same format. Any questions up until now? Are you all with me? Okay, I hope you are. If you have, don't hesitate to stop me. So once you have the dates, it is important that when you analyze, we analyze data based on year, month, dates. So it is important that you have those columns in your date table. So the next one will be to create a column for year. So we are going to extract year from this date column, okay, from here. So there's two ways to do. I'll show the year. So you click here and you say new column. And it will again give this formula bar for you to do what you want to do with this column. So I'm going to rename here it as year. And there's a function called year. So you can see what it does. So it returns a year as a date of a 4-digit integer. So I'm just going to select it. For me, next is to select the column. So I have to select this date column in the date. So when I say date, it will give all the options that is there for me to select from dates. So can you see there's this sign where it has highlighted one column. So this means this is a column. Okay, so I'm going to select that column. So it is date table, date column. And I'm going to close the bracket. Okay. Press enter, or you can just click the tick in front of the formula bar also. Okay, whichever that is easier for you. And it will extract the year. Okay, the other column I'm going to build is the month. So for month, one way you can right click and get a new column, or in your home tab you can see new column here also. So whichever is easier you can use. For month, what I want is I want the month name to present, like to say it is Jan Feb, something like that. So I'm gonna say this as month name. For month name, you don't have a formula, so you have to go for a format formula. Okay, so you say format, select that format, and then you select the date column. Okay, so again, you all can see in the date table, they are listing me two columns that I can use. I'm gonna select date, then you put a comma, and within inverted commas, if you give 4 M's, okay, I'm just gonna show you. If you give 4 M's, you all can see the whole month name, like December. If you give 3 M's, it will give the short version of the dates. Month name, sorry. Okay, December, Jan, Feb. If you give 2 M's, it will give you a number. Okay, month number. So for now, I want to use the short version of month names. I'm gonna go for 3 M's. Are you all with me so far? Any questions? Okay, seems not. I'm gonna go ahead. So I'm gonna show you something. I'm just gonna use the slicer visual here. Okay, and I'm gonna pick this month name from the dates table. I'm just gonna pick that. Okay, so I wonder whether y'all can see. Let me. Okay, I hope y'all can see the names here. So y'all can see this is not in the year months order, right? April has come first, December has come second, and Jan has gone way to the middle. So we want it in the order as in a calendar, right? To do that, so this will automatically sort it based on the alphabetical order. Okay, for you to have it in a calendar format, we are going to use another column, a new column, which will be the month number. Okay, name it as month number. And here you can use either the month formula. Okay, I'm going to use month formula and say date. I'm going to select the date column and close the bracket and close. So it will give me the month. You all can also use the format formula that I showed earlier and have it only 2 M's. You should still get the month number. Okay. Once you get that, what you should do is you select the month name. In your column tools, you can see something called sort by column. Okay, you click that. You can see month name is currently sorted from month name itself. That's why it is given alphabetical order. So you go and select month number. Give it some time to work on it. Okay. And if you go back, can you all see this has sorted in the order that it should be? Okay, as in a calendar. So that's what we were after. So our date table is done. We have our revenue table done. And next thing is for us to create the relationship. Any questions so far? Are you all with you? Do you all get any other errors while you are doing this? Okay, I hope not. So the other thing is to create relationships. So you have 2 tables here. Sometimes it automatically picks the relationship based on whatever the data that is there. If it's not created something like this, what you can do is you can just select it, drag and drop. Okay, so I want to create date to date. Okay, so I can just drag and drop. Okay, so it has created a relationship one to many. So that means in dates table, that date is only there once, but it can be repeated in my revenue table. That is okay. And this arrow shows that dates table filters the revenue table. Okay. And if I just double clicking just for you to show the other features. So you can see from revenue date table, that is the highlighted column, and in date table. So the relationship is between these two. Cardinality is many to one, and the cross filtration is one. Since I'm not going to analyze date table itself, it is okay to have single. So I'm going to analyze my revenue. So I only need my revenue table to be filtered. So I'm going to select single and make this relationship active. I need it to be actively used for my analysis. So that's what it is about relationships. Close it, so it's there. Any questions on the relationships? Okay. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Okay, so we are done with our formatting and little stuff that we do to get there. So let's start building the dashboard. So one of the important things you can do on a dashboard is to have one dashboard done where you just feed in data and it will reflect everything that you are just feeding in. For you to do that, rather than if you are presenting a revenue dashboard, rather than updating a dashboard monthly, you can allow one dashboard where you can filter and go back to the future, sorry, not future, go back to your past or the present numbers easily in one go. So for that, slicers are very important. So slicer function is a filtration of your dashboard, which allow you to go back and select numbers. So for this, I'm gonna first say for my filter year, for someone to filter the data based on year. So you select the slicer and you just go here and select the field that you need. It will show you something like this, but since I'm not, my requirement is not to select many years, I just want 1 year view at once. Can you, if y'all can see, there's this one, which is clear filter selection. So if you have selected something, it's not more. You can clear it with one go from here and it will go into the default selection. And then there's this arrow kind of a thing. So I'm going to click that. So it will show you what are the styles that the slicer can be. You can have a list where it will show your selection like this, or you can have a drop down where it shows like this and you have to go here and select. So you can see in between is what we saw, and then less than or greater than, where you can define where you want the slicer to be. So I'm going to go for list. So this is a vertical list slicer for you all to just play around to make the dashboard more presentable. What I go is I go to general. So in your visualization, there's this paint roller thing, which is the format. You select that and you go to the section that says general. In their orientation, you all can see it's vertical. I'm going to go ahead and say horizontal. It will show as 2 blocks. Okay. So that's what I'm going to have my ear. I'm just going to. So that's my ear slicer. Okay. I'm going to do a similar slicer for month. since month have lot of months that is going in, I'm gonna just use it as a drop down. So you select the slicer, you go to your fields and you select your month name. It will come up here, and I'm gonna do a drop down for month name. Since I don't want it actually to call month name, one way you can rename it is in the fields. You can double click and just delete and month. You can do that, or you can go to the formats and you can go to slicer header and you can change it here also, whichever you want. Any questions up until now? Are you all following me? Am I too fast? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. If y'all have any questions, please raise. I'm not sure that you're following me or I'm too fast.
It's not too fast. I think it's okay. No one's put any questions though on the chat box yet.
Okay. Okay. If anything, please flag. Okay. Thanks, Murthy. Okay. So we have slicers here. So let's go for some easy visuals that we all know. So pie charts are something that we all know. So I'm going to just go ahead from visuals. I'm going to select pie chart. Okay. So let's do an easy visual. Just analyze data based on the product type. Okay. So I want to see my product type sales. So I'm going to go here and put it here. To the legend. You can drag and drop, okay? And then from revenue, I'm going to put that to values. Okay, so this is my composition of the revenue by product. Pretty straightforward. And I'm going to do the same thing for the nature. Okay, I'm just going to put another pie chart from our data. So I'm going to drag the nature into the legend and revenue to the values. Okay. So something you all can say is, if I go to the year and I'm selecting 2021, these two should filter. Okay, so you can go to 2021 and just, I don't know, let's go to March. Yeah, so you should be able to see. So these filters automatically, they are to filter everything that is there on the page. Okay, so let's just have it there. So again, if you go here and click on this, it should clear the filters. Okay, so we have done the basics. So let's play around with our data to create more information that we can analyze. Okay, so I'm going to the data tab and then I'm going to select my revenue table. So you all can see I have revenue and cost. With this information, I can calculate profit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a new column. And I'm just going to call it profit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is profit is just revenue minus cost. So you can just start typing revenue and it will show what are there for you to select. So I want from revenue table, revenue. Okay. And then minus sign, then I'm gonna select the cost. So revenue, cost. Just enter. It should give the values here. Okay. So I have my profit here. Let's do another table. We'll give a goal, like a target profit for each of the product. Okay. So for do that, I'm gonna add another column that just say profit target. For profit target, since I'm gonna define a target for each product, I'm gonna use an if formula. Okay, so you open an if formula. I'm gonna say if my product column, okay, from the revenue product column has a value that says XP. So when you're going to give a text as a condition, you have to have your inverted brackets open. Okay. If this is this, if its product is XP, I'm gonna say make it 0.3, 30%. Okay. Then you close bracket. If this is false, that means if it's not XP, since I have only two products, I can just give the other value as 0.35. If not, if there's other things that you have to define, you can again open an if function. This is for explanatory purposes. I'm doing this. You can go to revenue product and say if it's BT 0.35. Since I have no other conditions to say, I'm going to say 0 and I'm going to close the brackets that I have opened. So y'all can see if it's XP, it's 0.3, if it's BT, 0.35. So I'm going to make this a percentage since my profit target is a percentage. And I'm going to go here and say percent. So from your column tools in your formatting, you can see the percentage. So you can say great. Yeah, we can take a break now and continue later.
We can start again in 5 minutes. We'll take like a 5-minute break.
Yeah, sure. I'm here, so if you all have any questions, go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Also to share the material, the recordings and other material after the session, if you can fill in the feedback form with your email, that would also be great. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If it's okay, we can start again if that's.
Okay, sorry, sometimes on mute. Okay, so we did profit targets and a profit. I want to show you how to do a measure also. So I'm gonna do profit in a measure also. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to these three dots and I'm gonna say new measure. Okay. So difference in a measure, if you all remember, in a column it is calculated row wise. Okay, for each row it's going to give you a value, but in a measure it's an aggregate where it gives for the total column or whatever you are selecting an aggregate single value. Okay, so for columns what we easily did was we just picked revenue, then we said minus cost. Okay, for a measure it's a little different. So I'm gonna say profit measure here. Here what I'm gonna do is you have to give us sum. Okay. For example, if you're just gonna type revenue here, it's not gonna let you pick it. It's not gonna give you that column as an option. Okay, so you have always to say sum. I want an aggregate of it. Aggregate of revenue. Now they allow you to pick that column. Okay, so I'm going to say aggregate revenue minus, again I'm going to give a sum. I'm going to get aggregate cost. Okay, so just that, and I'm going to, yeah. Okay, so I got the profit measure. So let's, we have this, and let's do another one. What are we gonna do? Okay, let's do a year-to-date measure. So this is something that is used in finance. Since I'm close to finance, I'm using a lot of finance-related measures, but this is something you can use. So year-to-date means for whatever the month you select, all the months up until that month in that year will get aggregated. So I'm gonna do another measure saying, oh, wrong table. I'm just gonna say close. Takes time. I want it in revenue. So okay. So I'm gonna say year to date. So I'm gonna get this year to date formula. So that's total year to date, and I want revenue again. It's a measure, so I have to give the aggregation. So revenue, and I'm gonna select it's. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say date. So I'm gonna say for whatever the date that gets filtered in the dashboard, calculate the year-to-date revenue. So this is one useful formula and an important measure that a lot of managers review. Just say, okay. Okay, so we have done some measures and columns. Let's do a little bit of visualizations. So if you have a target, like what we created for profit target and an achievement, you can present those using something called KPI. So there's a visual here, KPI with arrows here. So I'm gonna just select that. So I want to show KPIs. Okay, so what I want is to have a profit target to my profit. So you can select either the column or measure. I'm just gonna go ahead with the measure. Okay, and then you have to give a trend axis. So I'm gonna mark it against the product. Okay. Why is profit measure like this? Okay. I didn't calculate a profit percentage. I'm going to just change this a little bit and make it a profit percentage since our target is a percentage. So I'm going to say if you minus these two, you calculate profit, you divide it by sum of revenue. Okay. I'm going to make it a percentage, so it's 33. And the goal 250, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is from product, I'm just going to select one product here so that it will show for the product. Okay, and I'm gonna make this. Okay, so this one I'm gonna change the go to format, and I'm gonna change the title so we are not mixed up with it. Delete it, and I'm gonna say product. We select PT, right? PT. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same for the other product. You can go back and select the KPI, or you just can copy paste the same selected visual. Did I crash it? Okay. And I'm just gonna change the product to XP. So here you can filter it so it shows what you have selected. Okay, so I'm gonna change the title. Any questions? Am I too fast on what I did here? No?
It's clear.
Great. So again, if you go to filtering, these should change. The whole dashboard should update to show that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back, clear these off. So we have done this, and let's do a chart to show profitability based on the time period. So I'm going to use a line chart for that, so that easily shows the growth or drop in the profitability. Okay, go here. Okay, so for my axis, I'm going to create a manual hierarchy. Okay, so in a date table, it creates automatic hierarchies also. So I'll show you both so that you're familiar with it. So what you can do is you can go here to the three dots and say create a hierarchy. Okay. So it will create a year hierarchy, and in here year is already in the hierarchy. Then I'm gonna add month name into my hierarchy. So you go to the month name in front of the three dots. You can say add to hierarchy and it will show what are the hierarchies available. So for year hierarchy, I'm gonna add this date. Okay, so if you select this hierarchy into your axis, so it'll be there. Okay, I'm gonna show. Okay, let's go by this and I'm gonna say profit measure into my values. Okay, so it will show years. So it will show the first one that is there in the hierarchy years. In your selected chart, can you see this expand to the down level in the hierarchy? Okay, if I click this, so it will show with year and the month. Okay, so this is one way to do it. If you all doesn't want to create the hierarchy, you can easily just drag and drop the fields here. So I'm gonna drag and drop month here, sorry, year and then month to the same axis field. So it will show like here, and you go and do this. It still does that. So it will create a natural hierarchy also, or you can create a hierarchy and go on about it. Okay, so we are going to do some formattings here. It's always easy if you can see the values, because if you just see this graph, you cannot really tell where it is. For you to go and match it to the axis is little troublesome. So if you go to the formats, there is an option called data labels. So it's currently off. I'm going to switch it on and it will show the values for each the points. Okay, and I'm gonna also change the title. So title is automatically picked by whatever the fields you select. So you can just go and change it. So that's a chart. This will also get filtered by so there's only December in my data, so that's why there's just one dot. Okay, for you to have complete data, it would look nice. Okay, so for here, bear with me. Okay, so we have done this, and let's do cards. So cards is an easy way just to show numbers. Okay, so there's something here saying card. Select it. Okay, so I'm just gonna select what you could say year to date. Yeah. So this is my year to date revenue. I'm just gonna rename the field. Easier to do that. I'm just gonna put another card, which is just revenue. And then I'm gonna just put another card, which is profit percentage. Okay. I'm gonna rename it here in the fields just to say profit. Okay. So these are some cards you all can use. So you all can see that this comes with a key, and if you're not really a fan of that, change it, you just select it. So since these both are cards, I can change both at once. You go to the format, and there's thing called category. Okay, go there, not category. Yeah, sorry, data label, and you can go to say none. Okay, and if you want that comma mark here, you can go to the format, to the measure you have, and just go here. That. So it will give those separators, so it looks nicer when and easier when paper. I guess. Okay, so this is the basic things that y'all can do. You can always, sorry, you can always add a text box for your heading. We'll just add a nice text box for the heading. Oh, let's say I'm gonna make it middle, bold, and a little bit bigger. Okay, so your some of the tips on the formatting, you all can change the unselect all the visuals that you have. You can go to here format. This will give you formatting for the canvas. So you can change the page size. If you think there's no enough space, you can always go and custom your page sizes. You can change page background, so you can go and put a color like and just, yeah. And just you can work on the alignment. So you can even change the background of all these visuals I have selected also. Let's just see what was the percentage I took. The page background, it is 10%. So you can just select these visuals. You can go to format and there's a background. So you can just change the color and say 10%. It's a little different, the shades, isn't it? Okay, it should have been the same color. You can match the colors. It's 10%. Let's just go for an easy one rather than trying to match it. Go for black. So you can always change the labels colors also. I'm just gonna say white. I have not selected this. Say white. And you can do the same for all the stuff that you have selected. Background color is also white. Can change the title. So you can just change colors to match whatever you want. Yeah. So you can do something like that for all of these and just so is there anything else that you all would like me to do? So this is all that I have worked for today. Anything that you all want me to go through that you all like to see me do? Are you all clear on whatever we do? Do you all need to go back? For same visuals, you can use the format painter. So if you do one visual, if it's the same type of visual, you can just use format painter to get the same formats.
Guys, is there anything else like the session should cover? Anything you all feel should be covered? You can ask now.
Does this relate to like Python and stuff, Ruwini? The use of Power BI?
No, so there is something where you can actually do advanced dashboards using Python. Okay, so
Okay.
you go here, you can create visuals, and even in the modeling, you have Python in the backend core, if I'm not mistaken. So you can write, if you want to build a model that is complex as it gets using a Python, you can do that.
Okay, okay.
Something like, so some advanced dashboards you all can do is, if there's an error, like if it's we'll say if it's IT related dashboard where you can say if incident number priority goes higher than something for the dashboard to give an alert. So stuff like that can be done using Python.
Right.
Yes, you can have R script and Python. So you can have a dashboard where people are working on the tickets and something that is very important has been dragging on and people have not attended, for it to like send an alert. You can have that Python built in. So from the dashboard, people see that as an alert. So that is something you all can work on. I don't have exposure into Python and R script as at now.
Okay.
Yeah, something Dilima and Murthy can work on to get some Python or the R script to work on this. Yes, that is a possibility. The functions are already there.
Yeah, if there's any like other content you want us to cover in future sessions also, you can let us know.
Until you guys have any questions, I'm just going to work on this. If you have anything, please.
And how would you kind of extract this onto like say your final report? Is it, I mean, on Excel you create the chart and then we just copy and paste, right? Is it as simple as that? Or is there like
No, I didn't get it. While can you
like
repeat that? Yeah.
say you want to link this to like a report that you're doing up or something like that? How would you can just
Okay.
copy
So
and
what you
paste
can do is, I do not have a Microsoft account in my personal laptop. So you can go here. Can you all see there's a option called publish?
it? Yeah.
So you can go and publish it into your account. Okay, so you can share it as a report. not this format. It has a dashboard report. Okay. Yep, I want to save. I'm gonna save my changes. Okay. So let's see. I don't have a Microsoft account. So I'm gonna publish it. If you have Microsoft accounts, they give you workspace for you to publish this reports. Okay. I don't think I can. Yeah, most probably I don't have an account. If you do, you can publish it and share it as a report. Let me see whether you can show that to you. Yeah, so I don't have an account. If you have bought the Microsoft account, if you have an account in Microsoft, you can publish it and then share it as a report link. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't have access to publish. But I hope I answered your question.
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ruwini, for joining today. Thank you for insightful session, and thank you everyone for joining. We'll be sharing the content with all the recordings and other material, and we'll also take the feedback for future sessions on other. We'll keep you posted on that as well. Yeah, have a nice rest of the day.
Yes, thank you everyone. I hope you all learned something, and thank you for the team for having me. I hope. Yes. Have a nice day everyone.